Would you guys repeat after me?
Grab your Bibles.
Grab your Bibles.
There should be some in the pews around you, and if there's not one in the pew around you, I don't know, there should be some around there. There's a ton in the back. So if you don't own a Bible, that's our gift to you. Take it, keep it. We want you to have one with you.
Wow. This is my Bible. God's word written for me. I am what it says I am. I have what it says I have. And I can do what it says I can do. Within these pages, I will find strength, peace, and love. Today I will be taught the Word of God. So I boldly and fearlessly confess. My mind is prepared. My heart is receptive. And I will be changed from the inside out. I'm about to receive the everlasting, the unchanging, the ever-living Word of God. And I declare that I will not be the same. Thank you. Please pray with me. Lord, may the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Let flow your words for your glory, for your purpose. We ask through the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. You know, when we think of teamwork, we're both going to talk, by the way, if that wasn't apparent yet. But when we think of teamwork, you know, usually one of the things that does come to mind, like I was telling the kids, is this concept of sports, right? Because just about every sport has an element of teamwork to it. Even the individual sports like track or swimming or something like that, right? They have a team element to them. There's things like relays, and there's team camaraderie that's happening, and there's team scoring that happens, and so there's teamwork in just about every kind of sport. And I know that there are some that are very individual, but we have made them all very team-like. And it's probably the area that most people are familiar with when you talk about the concept of teamwork, because inherently the word team is in there, right? And so we think of a team like a sports team. And we probably, at some point in our lives, all participated in some level of that to an extent. You know, whether that was when you were younger and you played in some kind of sports team, or maybe even older. You know, there's co-ed teams. There's all kinds of team sporting event things that happen. Or maybe you're just a fan of a team, right? Like maybe one of the teams that are playing today for the football game. But it's in sports that we really understand how important a team can be, especially early on, in the early part of our life when we're growing up. I know that when I was in high school, my freshman year, I decided, you know, I had played, up until that point, I had played a lot of soccer and a lot of baseball. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to play football. And so my freshman year, for the first time ever, I decided that I was going to play football. And I wasn't the only freshman to begin their football career as a freshman. You know, some people played in middle school and kind of moved their way up and things like that, even younger. But there was a big group of us that decided our freshman year we were going to play. And our coach decided to do something, because I don't know if he did this every year. He didn't do it again while I was there, but so I don't know if he does it like with every new batch of kids or whatever it might be. But one of the things that he did is he gave all of us a link of chain. And I actually have a picture of it, I think. Did you get it on there, Nick? I still have, well, there it is. It's on my keychain, and I don't know if you can see. I lost my laser, but there's a link of chain there, and I still have that link of chain. But he gave each and every one of us on the team a piece of this chain, and he was trying to help us to understand this concept of teamwork. And he explained to us that a chain is something that is very strong, right? We all know that a metal chain is extremely strong. It's usually stronger than rope. And it has a lot of different abilities to it because it's metal. It can, you can drag it on the ground and it still can work pretty well. There's a lot of things that go with that. And so he told us that they're really strong, and each link in this chain has been put through this kind of purifying process, right? That as it's heated and melted and put under fire, all these bad elements or the things that we don't want in that metal are either burned out or siphoned out or whatever, pulled out of the compound. And so it's kind of purified, and then it's shaped and guided into this kind of exact shape that it needs to be in order to perform the duty that it needs to perform. Right? So this link of chain has been through this process in order to become what it is. And it's been designed and molded and shaped into exactly what it needs to be. And then it's in order to be effective in what it's doing, it needed to do that. And then it's placed on this chain, wherever it is on the chain, right? A chain could be very long or short, but wherever it is on that chain, it's been placed there in order to do its job. And so this was the analogy that our football coach gave us, and that each of these links have been assigned this spot. And it might be somewhere in the middle. It might even be the hooks on the ends of the chain that are attached to whatever it needs to be attached to. But we're all given all these chain links are given this position to be in. You can probably kind of feel where this analogy is going, right? And so the coach used that, and he said basically the result of this chain is that it's very movable, right? You can take a chain and you can wiggle it around, and you can do a lot of things with it, but it's still strong. It's still tough. It's very effective in what it needs to do, right? You can use this chain and pull out another vehicle out of like a mud pit or something, right? You can use this chain and you can strap down loads, very heavy loads. You can use this chain. People often use chains as a safety thing for trailers, because if the trailer pops off, well, we know that chain is going to hold on to that trailer, almost no matter how heavy it is, although there's still some instances where that might break. But they're extremely effective. They're very strong, and they're designed to do what they do. And so he also said that when one of those links breaks, then the whole chain fails. The chain can no longer do its job when just one of those links breaks and is no longer strong, is no longer effective, and no longer performing the duty that it was made and molded and designed to do. And so it was this symbol of being a link in the chain. It also came with this saying, and I know that the University of Georgia defensive line was kind of famous for saying this a lot, but they said, "Don't be the link that breaks the chain." They would say that all the time, and there was an article about it even a couple of years back in 2016 when they were going to face Notre Dame, and this was, it was an interview with the defensive line, and they're talking about don't be this link that breaks the chain. They had to go into this game ready to work as a team, that they were all going to work together and not let that chain break, essentially, so that they could defeat Notre Dame. And we use that also in our football team, talking about, we don't want to be that weak link, right? We want to be doing everything we can to be ready, prepared, strong, doing exactly what we need to do in the position that we've been assigned in that chain, and not be that weak link. No matter what position you're playing, if you're on the sidelines or if you're the star player, so to speak, you need to perform whatever you need to perform in order for the team to be successful, because every part of that team is important. Every bit of it. And so some of you might still be thinking, I guess, why are we talking about this chain metaphor? What does that have to do with the Bible? And to be fair, every metaphor does break down. Not every metaphor is perfect. The chain isn't a perfect metaphor for teamwork, but it is very effective. It's a very effective one, and it's one that we held on to as we were going through my whole football career. I still have my chain link. We kept it, and we talked about it often, even when we did our own, because the players would have their own meetings as well as meetings with coaches and stuff, and we talked about it all the time. We talked about how we need to be the strongest link that we can be so that the chain can be effective, so that the team can be effective. Because this metaphor helps promote that idea of team unity, right? Of working together. It helps kind of guide us all toward this single purpose, that we're going to be strapping on this load. That's what we've got to do as a team. So we all need to be able to perform our duty the best that we can. It helped us understand that we all have a certain place in that chain. And whether we're in that middle or the ends or whatever, we all need to be effective where we're at. And it's important that we understood that if any of those chains, or any of those links in the chain failed, then we could not be effective as a team.
Another way we can look at teamwork is during World War II, in order to defeat the Axis powers, or the bad guys, the Allies, or us, had to we had to we had to make it through Normandy. Problem with that is the Axis powers knew we were coming, so they set up what is called the Atlantic Wall, which just runs down. It's just a wall of anything that could have been used to stop them from coming in and invading, all the way down the Atlantic. Um, they knew that the Allies knew that there hadn't been a successful invasion across that channel in about 8 centuries. The Allies had to plan using 4 different countries to gain back the territory of France. They decided to use different methods like air raids, launched artillery from naval ships, and they planned a land invasion across 5 different beaches. There were multiple levels of teamwork happening. The Allied forces as a whole had to come together. Individual countries had to come together. Military divisions had to come together, and the platoons had to come together. If any of them failed, it would ruin the whole thing. The most impressive part was what took at the platoon level as they hit the beaches, because they went in waves, so guys had to sacrifice their life so that other guys could survive and take out the enemy or eliminate what was still standing there. In terms of a larger picture of teamwork, the Allied forces together realized every piece of the puzzle had to understand they belonged to a bigger picture. Even being part of a smaller team, they were part of a bigger team. But how does that apply to us at church?
I'm going to read 1 Corinthians for you guys. It'll be up above, but you can also open your Bible with me. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 12 through 31a. That's what we're going to look at. It says, "For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For in the one Spirit we are all baptized into the one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and we are all made to drink of the one Spirit. Indeed, the body does not consist of one member, but of many. If the foot would say, 'Because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body,' that would not make it any less part of the body. And if the ear would say, 'Because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body,' that would not make it any less part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body were hearing, where would the sense of smell be? But as it is, God arranged the members in the body, each one of them as He chose. If all were a single member, where would the body be? As it is, there are many members, yet one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, 'I have no need of you,' nor again the head to the feet, 'I have no need of you.' On the contrary, the members of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and those members of the body that we think less honorable, we clothe with greater honor, and our less respectable members are treated with greater respect, whereas our more respectable members do not need this. But God has so arranged the body, giving the greater honor to the inferior member, that there may be no dissension within the body, but the members may have the same care for one another. If one member suffers, all suffer together with it. If one member is honored, all rejoice together with it. Now you are all the body of Christ, and individually members of it. And God has appointed in the church first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then deeds of power, then gifts of healing, forms of assistance, forms of leadership, various kinds of tongues. Because are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? Do all possess gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? But strive for the greater gifts, and I will show you still a more excellent way."
Being part of a body, part of a team that God has assembled here, we're all connected. When one person shares a joy, we all rejoice. And when one shares a pain or a concern in their life, we all weep with them. Pastor Jarid shared a story about me about a woman who used to go to his old church. And she got up during Joys and Concerns and said that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Everybody in that moment in the church wept with her. They knew what she was going through and that she had a long ride in front of her. Just as we as a church were excited when we found out that Johnny and Pahamu were going to have 2 babies. But we also remained worrisome for them when he goes back. God has given us all abilities and talents, but they are not the same. One may be great at computers, another at cooking, but one is not more intrinsic to the team than the other. God has gifted Pastor Jarid. Being able to stand up here and do this isn't an easy job. He can do it every Sunday. He's done it in front of many people, and he doesn't seem nervous at all anytime.
It's not true. I do get nervous. I don't eat before I come up here. But on the flip side, I've seen a lot of gifts that God has given Trevin. I remember the very first time that, you'd only been coming here for like 3 months or something like that, and I went to go get ready to go on this mission trip with Johnny Fahamu to Africa, and he's like, "Can I come?" Like, yeah, I guess. But he asked me that at church camp, and the first church camp he'd ever been to, that I'm aware of anyway, first church camp he'd been to, and we were going through town, and in the middle of church camp, we often will go visit the city of Cascade, and we will do a couple of different outreach kind of activity things. One of the things we were doing was a scavenger hunt thing, and we're walking through this alleyway with a whole group of us. There's probably like 30 of us, and I was the only pastor there at the time. But this guy was trying to put some coolant in his car for his air conditioner, and we were like, "Oh, well, let's go see if he needs some help." We went over there to ask him. He said, "No, he's fine, but he'd love for us to pray for him." And you guys probably all know this without knowing this, but anytime there's a pastor around, it's obviously my job to pray, right? So I was like, okay, I guess I got to pray for him. And he goes, no, I want one of the kids to pray for him. And immediately everybody is like, no, I'm not praying for this guy, because you know how it is. If I was to ask any one of you right now to come up here and pray, you'd probably like pee your pants. So, but Trevin, he went, I'll do it. I should say he had his arm wrapped around a girl. And he's like, I'll do it. And so he goes, he walks up. He walks up though, and it wasn't like it was some amazing, elaborate, crazy, beautiful prayer. But he just went up and did it, and he just prayed. It was simple and sweet and short, and the guy was very appreciative. And it was just amazing that that you felt led to do so. I don't know if it was a pompousness or if it was just you really felt led to do it, but did it. And I've seen that happen in him multiple times even since then. This ability for him to just kind of listen to that call and to do it, just to say yes in the moment. And so it's been awesome to see how God is continuing to gift you as well. Go ahead.
Just like the links of the chain went through the process of heat and fire and molding and shaping, we all have to recognize our gifts and where God has molded and shaped us through fire and placed us in this team, in this family, as a part of this body. We all have a place. Just as Paul said in our scripture, a hand is no more important than a foot. An eye is no more important than a mouth. But we are all important together. Let us be the team, the family, the body that Jesus has called us together to be. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Pastor Jarid here. We're glad that you found this video, and we hope that God uses it to enrich and grow your life and your walk with Him. But we also know that watching videos on YouTube and Facebook, it's no substitute for being part of a true community. So we hope that you also find a place of worship, a community that you can be a part of wherever you're at. If you want to see what we have in store next on our channel, click here. And if you want to see what YouTube thinks you should watch next, click down here. But please remember to subscribe and like our video and our page. And we hope to have you watching more in the future.